we start. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmitam Mena Tasmai Ismai Guruve Namaha. Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Yuda Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagradasam Sagana Raghunatha Vidamschayam Sadvaivam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vijamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude Taptakandina Chaurangi Radhe Vindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Ruse Devi Pranamami Haripraye Vancha Kalpa Karubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Devasya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo 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 Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Budale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Idi Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prajarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So first of all, thank you everyone for coming here on the Sunday feast on a busy day. So the verse that was given to me is Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 22nd verse. 2nd chapter, 22nd verse. So those who have iPhones and phones, you can take the verse from vedabase.io. So we'll start with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya. Navani grhanati naroparani. Tada sharirani vihaya jirnani. Anyani samyati navani dehi. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. Navani grahnati naroparani. Tada sharirani vihaya jirnani. Anyani samyati navani dehi. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. Navani grahnati naroparani. Tada sharirani vihaya jirnani. Anyani samyati navani dehi. Anyone would like to read? Vasamsi jirnani yada vihaya. Navani grahanadi naroparani. Tada sharirani vihaya jirnani. Anyani samyani navani dehi. Anyone else? Vasamsi jirnani yada vihaya. Navani grahanadi naroparani. Tada sharirani vihaya jirnani. Anyani samyani somebody from the, yeah.
Vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya.
Vasamsi jirnani yada vihaya.
Navani gridnati naroparani.
Parani.
Tata sharirani vihaya jirnani.
Tata sharirani vihaya jirnani.
Anyani samyati navani dehi.
Anyani samyadi navani dehi. One more person, this side. Vasamsi jirnani yada vihaya. Navani grihanadi naroparani. Tata shari. Anyani samyadi navani dehi. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So the synonyms: Vasamsi, garments; Jirnani, old and worn out; Yatha, just as; Vihaya, giving up; Navani, new garments; Granati, does not accept; Nara, a man; Aparani, others; Tata, in the same way; Sharirani, bodies; Vihaya, giving up; Jirnani, old and useless; Anyani, different; Samyadi, verily accepts; Navani, new sets; Dehi, the embodied. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. As a person puts on new garments, giving up the old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Somebody can read the purport by one paragraph at a time. So, you want to start with?
Purport. Change of body by the atomic individual soul is an accepted fact. Even the modern scientists who do not believe in the existence of the soul, but at the same time cannot explain the source of energy from the heart, have to accept continuous changes of body which appear from childhood to boyhood, and from boyhood to youth, and again from youth to old age. From old age, the change is transferred to another body. This has already been explained in a previous verse, 2.13. Transference of the atomic individual soul to another body.
Transference of the atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the super soul. The super soul fulfills the desires of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. The Vedas, like the Mundaka Upanishad as well as the Shvetaswara Upanishad, compare the soul and the super soul to two friendly birds sitting on the same tree. One of the birds, the individual atomic soul, is eating the fruit of the tree, and the other bird, Krishna, is simply watching his friend. Of these two birds, although they are the same in quality, one is captivated by the fruits of the material tree, while the other is simply witnessing the activities of his friend. Krishna is the witnessing bird and Arjuna is the eating bird. Although they are friends, one is still master and the other is the servant. Forgetfulness of this relationship by the atomic soul is the cause of one's changing his position from one tree to another, or from one body to another. The jiva, soul, is struggling very hard on the tree of the material body. But as soon as he agrees to accept the other bird as the supreme spiritual master, as Arjuna agreed to do by voluntarily surrendering unto Krishna for instruction, the subordinate bird immediately becomes free from all lamentations. Both the Mundaka Upanishad 3.1.2 and Svetaswara Upanishad 4.7 confirms this. Samane Varshe Vrishike Purusho Nimagno Nisvasa Sokasi Mohya Manaha Justam Yada Pashyati Anyam Isham Yasya Asya Mahimanam iti vita sokaha.
Another person? Birds?
Although the two birds are in the same tree, the eating bird is fully engrossed with anxiety and moroseness as the enjoyer of the fruits of the tree. But if in some way or other he turns his face to the friend of the Lord and knows his glories, at once the suffering bird becomes free from all anxieties. Arjun has now turned his face towards his eternal friend, Krishna, and is understanding the Bhagavad Gita from him. And thus, hearing from Krishna, he can understand the supreme glories of the Lord and be free from lamentation.
Arjuna is advised herewith by the Lord not to lament for the bodily change of his old grandfather and his teacher. He should rather be happy to kill their bodies in the righteous fight so that they may be cleansed at once of all reactions from various bodily activities. One who lays down his life on the sacrificial altar or in the proper battlefield is at once cleansed of bodily reactions and promoted to a higher status of life. So there was no cause for Arjuna's lamentation.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Right. So, we are going to discuss mainly from Srila Prabhupada's purport, not purport, based on a class Srila Prabhupada has given, and also from the teachings from the Bhakti Shastri classes. So, first of all, just I'm just giving a background of the whole. The structure will be like this. I'll be giving a background of the whole thing up to this verse, and then the analogy of the clothes, how that works, and mixed with the spiritual supporting. This verse is being supported by various verses in various ways. So we'll cover that, and we'll also discuss what are the misunderstanding of the modern society, and then what are the practical applications for the devotees. That's the format, and it may not be in the same order, but it'll be somewhat mixed. Okay. So the quick summary part first. So as everybody knows, this is from Sri Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita is from the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and the headline for that one is the contents of the Gita summarized, meaning the whole Bhagavad Gita is in a high-level fashion. It's summarized into one chapter. So, the background is that there was a battle in the Kurukshetra. In the battlefield, there were two parties that were Kauravas and Pandavas. They were cousins, and during the war, Arjuna was perplexed by the seeing his relatives on the other side, right? So he felt very overwhelmed by compassion and decided not to fight, right? So that's the background. And when that happened, he approached Krishna, and Krishna was, he was telling Krishna that I cannot fight because of, they are my relatives and other things. There are actually 5 reasons in depth, but we'll not go into that details. But first reason being the compassion for his relatives, right? So his other side is gurus and Bhishma, grandfather, Bhishma Dev. All those people are very important person for the Arjuna, and killing them was not even comprehensible for him. So we are also in a similar position often, right? We are very much perplexed what to do. And when we are in such a tough situation, right, what will we do? Okay, this Bhagavad Gita actually helps us to understand how to tackle situations of this sort, right? So that's what we are going to discuss here. So Krishna first explains to Arjuna that, okay, these problems should not be worried at all, right? So this, you're a fool, it is a foolish thing to be acting like a knowledgeable person. That's what Krishna says. And eventually, Arjuna accepts Krishna as the Guru. So that's when Krishna starts revealing how to tackle this problem, right? And what is the right way. So once Arjuna has accepted Krishna as the Guru, okay, or the spiritual master, then Krishna starts explaining how to overcome such situations. And in this second chapter, the whole that process is summarized, right? It's explained various yogic method, which is karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, dhyana yoga, and eventually bhakti yoga. These processes are described in summary. And there are a lot more details, like in the karma yoga itself is divided into sakama karma yoga, then nishkama karma yoga. All those things are explained in detail. Now, before Arjuna can understand, or it's actually meant for us, can understand the philosophy, we have to understand the fundamentals, the basics. Okay, the basics are explained through something known as Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is basically a fundamental distinction between soul and the material body. Right? How do we? What is the difference between a material body and a soul? That's explained in Sankhya Yoga. And those who are interested, Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, gives a lot more detail about the Sankhya Yoga. So you can read if you want to understand more detail. But the fundamental here is that the difference between body and soul, right? And that is matter and soul. Okay, one is spiritual, one is material. Okay, so that is explained. The very first part is that Krishna is explaining that Aham Brahmasmi concept, right? So I am a spirit soul. So we are all actually spirit soul. So how do we understand that? So if we lose one part of our body through some accident or anything, we are still there, right? We are not lost, right? So we can understand from these concepts, various parts of our body, even if we lose that, we are still there. So the material body is different from the soul. And we are the soul, the spirit soul. Okay, that's the key thing we have to understand. And the soul, the word soul, is described in Bhagavad Gita through various terminologies just to understand. So generally called as Atma. Okay, Atma has other definitions too, but the general understanding is the soul. Sometimes it is referred to as Jivatma. Jivatma is the individual soul that refers to distinguish the soul from the Paramatma. So we are different from the Paramatma. Okay, we are the individual souls. We are the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, right? Then sometimes it's called Dehi. Dehi, the word Dehi is also used. Dehi means the one who wears possesses the Deha. Okay, so the body, right? So that's also used. And in this particular purport, Srila Prabhupada uses the word atomic individual soul. So you can see various ways of using the same thing. So we'll come to that why it is so, right? So in the 13th verse of the second chapter, there is a famous verse called Dehino asmin yada dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara Tada dehandara praptir dhirasatra namuhyati. So here, the embodied soul is actually continuously passing our body from, the soul is passing from one body to another, actually. So we are keep on changing our body. If you see, when we were child at one point of time, we have become a teenager at one point, then we became youth, then became a little more older, then we became older and older, and eventually we have become very old, right? So we can see the body is changing constantly, all the time. As we speak as well, we are changing our body right now, right? But we are just not able to see that. But it's very easy to understand that we are changing our bodies, right? So that's a fundamental thing. And what happens after the death? We are still continuously changing our body. We are going to get a new body after death. So that's called the transmigration of the soul, right? So we are going to go into the details of that one. So the various properties of the soul is also explained in the very beginning. So basically it is immutable. Soul is not indestructible. You cannot kill the body. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire. All those verses are emphasizing the properties of the soul, right? So now this particular verse is where the analogy of the clothes is explained, right? So vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. That is the first statement. As our garment and coats and shirts, we when they are old and we change our clothes, we throw away our clothes. Like we have a shirt and clothes, and when it becomes old, we throw away and put a new one, right? The same way, when our body gets older, okay, and it becomes jirnani, once it gets more older and older and it gets deteriorated, we are changing the bodies. Okay, we are keep on changing our body while we are alive as well, right? So that is compared to changing of clothes. So one example is Srila Prabhupada gives us, say baby has got a shoe, and when he gets a child's body, he has a shoe, and after some time the baby grows and the shoe doesn't fit him anymore. We go and buy a new one. Then further he grows up. We have to change newer shoes, and like that the shoe size becomes bigger, and it will eventually reach 11 also, size 11, which that's the concept is that the soul is changing. The soul is not changing, the body is changing, right? But the soul remains the same. The only thing that is changing is the body, right? So that is vasamsi jirnani. Jirnani means old enough, not fit for use. Okay, that's how Prabhupada translates. And yatha vihaya means as we give up. So vihaya means giving up, and navani means new garments. Okay, naraha. So then what is this body made of? So we have to understand. So we talked about soul and body are separate. Then what is this body made of? This body comes from the Prakriti, which is the nature, right? So earlier in the Bhagavad Gita verse, Bhagavatam verse, we were talking about the Purusha Avatar, building blocks for our material body, right? So these are the gross material elements. And this material world is also very temporary manifestation, right? So since the material world is also temporary, our body is also temporary, but the only thing that is not temporary is our spiritual part, which is the soul, right? We don't belong here actually, right? This is not our place. Our place is back in spiritual world. So our objective is to go back to spiritual world, and this body is, we are changing, right? Like Vasamsi Jirnani. Now, so basically, this body is nothing but a combination of various material elements. So, Bhagavatam gives more details of some of the, for example, the holes in our body are coming from the air, from the sky, meaning the ether, right? And then the breathing, the process of breathing comes through the air element, right? Then the heat in our body is coming through the fire element, right? Then the blood, mucus, and all those things, they are coming through the water element, okay? Then there is the hard substances such as the skin, muscles, and bones. They are all coming through the earth element, okay? So these are few examples, right? There are a lot more details given in Bhagavatam. So, and these are all being controlled by various demigods, right? All our actions and every things are controlled by various demigods as well. So, and so now the body has been compared to a cloth, right? Garment, just like a cotton shirt. So the tailor has to cut this cloth in a particular shape, right? That shape is based on our body, right? So that means if the body is also like a garment, that means it has a shape. I mean, the person who is wearing this body also has a shape. It is not nirakar, okay? It is not formless. It is not zero. The spirit soul also has a spiritual body, okay? So depending on the body shape, we are getting a particular type of body. So right now we have human body, right? So that is the shape we have right now. So we have so the body shape depends on our desire as well. So when we transmigrate into other bodies, our body shape changes, right? So that is depending on the desire to satisfy various desires that we have. Okay. So just to emphasize this concept, this form is so minute. This is in Katha Upanishads, it says, Anor Aniyan Mahato Mahyan. Okay, one form is lesser than the atom. So this form is very minute. It is it's atomic. That's why Srila Prabhupada in the purport uses the word atomic individual soul, right? So it's the size of the soul is 1/10 of the tip of the hair. That's how it is described, right? But there are two forms here, right? There's one is the Supreme Lord's form, and that form is called Virata Rupa. Okay, that's also there. Then Virata Rupa Mahato Mahyan. So, but our form is Anur Aniyan, so lesser than atom. So it is stated in Katha Upanishad that the full sentence is like this: Anur Aniyan Mahato Mahyan Atmasya Jantor Nihato Guhayan. Nihato Guhayan means in the heart. So it's this the soul is actually residing in the heart. Okay, so that's one of the questions we'll have. Where are we actually residing? One of the common questions that we get is what happens when the heart is transplantation happens or replaced with something else. So what happens to the soul? So if the person has is still living, that means the soul has come back to the heart. Okay, without the soul's presence, the body is nothing. So So the soul is actually sitting in our heart. Okay, and that is stated through various, Vedic statements, where our soul is residing, right? So it says, Hriddesha, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam, Hriddesha, Arjuna Tistadi. So elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, also it says, so we are sitting in our body. Krishna is sitting in our body as Paramatma in our heart, right? So here, to emphasize this, Srila Prabhupada says, no, it is not sitting anywhere else in the body, right? It's specifically in the heart, right? Hriddesha Tattva. So, heart is the center of all our bodily activities, okay? But the brain is the manager, okay? So that's the difference. So all the activities are, and there is a director for all this thing. That is Krishna. Krishna is directing us. But so Krishna is there directing, but the living entities are getting all those messages, right, from this direction of Krishna. But somehow, Krishna, the living entities are not listening to this Paramatma, right? They are turning our face away from the Krishna. So, in the purport also, Srila Prabhupada clearly says that if we just turn our face towards Krishna, meaning if we just listen to the instructions or guidance given by Krishna, we will be saved. Okay, but we are not doing that. We are not listening because of our various conditioning. We are not listening to our the director sitting in our heart. Okay, that's because we all want to enjoy. Okay, and we have our own desires, and we are manufacturing different ways of our own life actually. So because we have desires, right? And since we are like a child, right? As a child, we demand so many things from our parents, right? So it's like my used to demand for a lot of, small train toys, right? When he was a very small kid. And recently when I went to India, my sister-in-law's son was demanding cars. So he's obsessed with cars. Okay, so what happens when our parents, as a parent, we just don't want to make them unhappy. If they have the strong desire, so we will give them so that they will be temporarily happy. In the same way, Krishna is also trying to satisfy our desire. Right? Krishna is trying to see, okay, you have so-and-so desire, but I'm telling you, don't do that. You come back to me. Nobody is listening to Krishna. We are not even hearing Krishna's voice here. Even though he's sitting here and giving us through various intuitions, okay, various ways, he's actually trying to talk to us that, okay, listen to me, do this way, don't do this, all those things. But we are not listening, right? Krishna is telling us through his agents, his representatives, through gurus, acharyas, through the books, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, so many ways he's trying to tell us what is the right way. But we are not all listening because we are very much conditioned. So Krishna is actually telling us, Sarva Dharman Parittatya Mamegam Sharanam Praja. So you give up all this nonsensical desires that you have. Just come back to me. Just surrender unto me. Right? Just follow my instruction. Just serve me. Okay? Then I will take care of everything. All our desires, your desires, everything will be taken care actually. This material desires that we have will be gone. And instead we'll have spiritual desires. So, so that is what Krishna is telling us, right? So now again, coming back to this one. in Vedic literature, we'll find that both Lord and the living entity are situated in the heart. And the Jiva is actually demanding us, okay, I have so and so desire. So, but for Krishna to satisfy that desire, he has to give a certain type of body, right? So, right now, we may be having the human body, but sometimes our desires are so strong. One example is, if you want to eat meat, okay, our desire is to eat meat, so we will get a body of a tiger or animal which can eat meat lavishly, right? So Krishna is actually satisfying our desire by giving a particular type of body. So we are actually in the making of our next body right now, right? We are our desires and actions at the moment is the one that is going to cause our future body. Okay, after this death of our body, we are going to get another body. That body is in the current making right now, right? So if we desire for going back to Krishna, then we will get spiritual body back. Otherwise, we are going to get material body depending on our desire. So the cause of the original entanglement or liberation is our own desires actually, right? So we are entangled in this material world. We had been here for millions of years, right? We had been taking birth after birth after birth after birth. We are not still learning that this is not the place for us. This is not our home. Our real home is the spiritual world, right? And we are trying to, because of our desire, during each birth, we are having so much of strong desire that we are not turning our face towards Krishna. Once we turn our face towards Krishna, will be able to see Krishna and able to understand what he wants from us, right? But we are not turning our face towards Krishna. Because of that, we have these desires and we have been going through this Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi cycle. And this has been going on for millions of years. So because we cannot enjoy the spiritual life, right now we have no clue how our spiritual life is, right? We need to have a spiritual body to actually understand what our spiritual life is. So that's why we are not able to even visualize. It's like, if you hear a music, first time we might love that music very much, right? But if you hear, 24/7 every time, after some time we lose that interest in that one, right? We have enjoyed already. There is no taste in it, no rasa in this one, right? So it's like that. But still we are thinking that we are enjoying. So we had been going this through this punascharvida charvananam for long time, birth after birth. We had been doing the same thing and we're still not learning. Srila Prabhupada says, this is the, this is our basic activities are basically eating, mating, defending, and sleeping. So we are just continuously doing this. Even animals are also doing the same thing, right? So there is not much difference between our animal's life and our life if we keep on just doing this, eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, right? If we do just those basic things, we are not different from an animal life, okay? So in order for us to actually come out of it, we need to turn our face towards Krishna, right? That's when we can understand the benefit of spiritual life, right? And so what happens when in the spiritual, in the material life, we are not able to enjoy. So we are getting frustrated. We are dissatisfied. Our anxiety is increasing. We are not at all happy actually. We can see that this, first of all, this material world is dukkhalayam. So it's supposed to give only miseries to us. And we are still trying to find some happiness in this one. So, and we are all designing ways and means to enjoy this material world. And our desires keep coming up, actually. We are not, that desire is not stopping, right? So Srila Prabhupada says this materialistic life means sex life, very much abominable, tucham, that's the word Srila Prabhupada is using. So if one understands this particular thing, he is liberated. That's what, as long as we are not understanding this part, we are not liberated. And this soul also, we have to realize that this I am the spirit soul. Most often we are not even realizing this part itself. We understand by theoretical means that, okay, this is a spirit soul. But the reality is that we have not realized it. Once we have realized it, we have become a liberated person, and that person only sees spirit soul everywhere. Like he will see only, he becomes a Jivan Mukta actually. So a Jivan Mukta person is the one who will be able to see spirit souls in each and every one rather than seeing the body. Right? So that is the Uttamadhigari stage we are talking about. Now, so a great Acharya called Yamunacharya is telling the same thing. So I have engaged my whole life in, in doing nonsense. Now I want to my life to be dedicated to serving Krishna. So that's the way to actually to change our desire. So right now our desire is that we have our own materialistic desire. The best way is to serve Krishna. If we make our desire to serve Krishna, all our problems will be resolved. Right? So that should be our aim. So, but that's not very easy, right? There is Maya there. The Maya will make us, pull us to do other things, to have more desire, enjoy this material world. That's how Maya is going to act. That's also Krishna's energy only, right? So, so those who are spiritually realized, that means they have got this new enlightenment about this fact that we should be serving Krishna. That is the whole goal. And if we keep desiring in this life it's for serving Krishna, then we are gradually we are cleaning our heart and our desires are actually going towards Krishna. So we will eventually be able to reach the Krishna space. So instead of, so in this material world, it becomes, hackneyed. That is meaning it is a repeated thing. So, but if we engage in the service of Krishna, on the other hand, it becomes actually more enjoyable. It says nava nava, meaning, so if we hear a music, after some time we will become bored, right? I mean, it is, after some time we cannot enjoy anymore. But the spiritual activities is not like that. Spiritual activity is that when we do some service to Krishna, actually it becomes more enjoyable. So we can keep, whatever we do, it actually gives you more and more enthusiasm, right? It actually helps us to do more, right? So if we are not reaching that state, that means we are still doing a materialistic service, right? We are not actually doing a real spiritual service. So Srila Prabhupada says, if we are not enthusiastic enough to come to Mangalarati and do all the service in an enthusiastic way, that means we are still in the materialistic mode. Prabhupada was giving this statement because, those days everybody used to reside in the temple, all the brahmacharis, and they are all supposed to come to Mangalarati and everything. People used to be very tired of the services and everything, and there's only one bathroom. Everybody has to take bath and quickly come and do the Mangalarati. And when they are so tired, they'll feel sleepy and they are not attentive and all those things. So basically, if we are still in that mode, that means if we are doing our services for the name's sake, that means we are not making any spiritual advancement. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. When we actually do the service for Krishna, our enthusiasm goes up. So, right? So we'll want to do more. And we'll be able to do more attentively as well. Okay, so that is the symptom. Srila Prabhupada said this is a test. So, test for us. Are we making progress in Krishna consciousness? If we are actually making progress, we will feel more enthusiastic and in doing more devotional services and in a proper way, in the right way rather. Right? So, and Krishna is sitting in our heart and observing also at the same time, right? So it's giving Kshetrajna. So he is able to understand all our desires and everything. So Krishna is also known as Rishikesha because he is the actual owner of our senses, right? Our hands, legs, eyes, and everything. So we are to understand that we are just an occupier of this body, right? We are, again, coming to Vasam Srijirnani, we are just an occupier of this body, and we are not the owner of this body. We are like a machine. This body is like a machine. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, it's compared to a machine. Endra Rurani Maya. That's what it said. So, we keep changing this material body like as if we are getting into a new car, right? So today we are having one type of car and tomorrow we may have another type of car, but the driver is the same, right? So in the same way, we are getting different bodies, right? But the mistake that we all always do, this is the challenge. Actually, even though very easy to say, the biggest challenge is that we do not know that we are the owner. Okay, we are thinking that we are the owner of this body. We are always identifying our body with us, right? We say, I'm an Indian, I'm an American, I'm a Chinese person, or whatever person, or I'm a Brahmin, I'm a Kshatriya, or things like that. But we never see another person as a spirit soul, right? So that's the kind of realization that we should have. So when we have that realization, in Bhagavad Gita it says Pandita Samadarshina. We'll be able to see everybody with the equanimity, in the equal vision. So we'll be able to see that we are all part and parcel of Krishna, right? We cannot be separated. So, meaning we all see the hand alone. So it's our body. So the hand is part of our body, right? It cannot be separated. Meaning, hand has a function for us to do, right? For the body. Same way, we have a function. Krishna, we have a function, which is to serve Krishna, right? We are part of Krishna, and the duty is to serve Krishna. So, since we are part and parcel of Krishna, and if Krishna is born, then I am also born. But Krishna is Aja, so we are also Aja, actually. We are actually not born, right? So, Ajam Avyayam, it's said, right? Krishna is imperishable, immutable. So, because of that, we are also immutable and imperishable. So,